Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Rohan Khandelwal, your marrow surgery faculty, and welcome to this session regarding the preparation strategy for the last 2 months leading up to your FMG exam. This is what we are going to call the final sprint.
So we'll continue. Hi, Sakshi ma'am. It's a pleasure, guys, to be guiding you through this preparation phase of FMG in the last 60 days. And Rohan sir will be joining us shortly. And we'll continue with this session, guys. And this session is mostly about what are we gonna do, in the next 60 days, and what should we do, what we should not do, and how to maximize, our output, so that we can cross that golden line of 150 and score as much marks as possible. So, Sakshi ma'am, very good evening, and thanks a lot for
Hi, sir.
giving time to the
We
FMGs.
have been, more than us. I think it's the students who've been waiting for this session. Rather, we were also waiting for this session to connect to all the students and to guide them as to how to prepare in these 60 days. But just so many of you are in that panic state that now what should we do? Because 60 days are there. So, first of all, let us think about this. Let us answer your one question. Is 60 days enough for clearing FMG exam? What do you think, sir?
Actually, I'll give an organic answer to this, and I'll give a realistic answer because
Right, huh?
I cleared the FMG exam in, to be specific, 2 months and 10 days. Because earlier the exam used to be in the month of September. Now it is in the month
Okay.
of December and Jan. Earlier it was in the month of September and March, and we used to get diploma in the month of June in Russia and Ukraine.
Okay,
And so
sir.
20th of June I came here, and I had 10 days and 2 months, and 2 months 10 days I could do it. I could clear it. Say, I did not know if I'll clear it or not, but I just want to tell one thing to the students. If you have if you have started late because of some reason, because you got a
Right.
diploma or degree late, or for any reason, family problem. So if you have started late and now you have 2 months, the only thing that matters is mindset. Why are you going to give the exam?
Right, sir.
Because I'll tell you, lots of my batchmates, they had this intention. This is my first exam, so I'll just test the waters. Let me see how the exam is. Let me see how to feel how the paper is. Then I'll give a fair attempt in the second time, not the first time, because everybody thought that 60 days is not doable, it is not possible. So if you have a mindset, if you're going to the exam and you go with a mindset that I'm giving this exam because I want to clear it, not just that I'm trying to test waters and 60 days is less. I cannot do much in these 60 days. 60 days is doable. Or, ma'am, I'll tell you frankly, nowadays the students are much sensitized about the FMG exam, right?
Right. I agree, sir.
They read over there. They have, Marrow. They have online education notes, etc. There are a plethora of options nowadays. So, ma'am, 60 days is pretty much doable. What do you think, ma'am?
Sir, I also feel so. And what you said about this mindset, but you please remember, this FMG exam is just a stepping stone, and this is not your final destination. Your final destination is much above this, and that is cracking NEET exam. So, if you are finding this difficult, then think what about NEET? This is confidence which you have to have in yourself that no, I am going to do this in these 60 days, no matter what. You are looking at 60 days. I'm not looking at 60 days. I'm looking at into 60 into 24 hours. And in this 60 into 24 hours, you don't have to get a rank. What you have to do is you simply have to clear an exam. You have to just get passing marks. And that is more than enough for any exam. 2 months, any exam can be cracked. Leave aside FMG exam. So now coming to a very, very important question, sir.
Yeah.
Is Marrow, should they stick to Marrow at this point of time, or should they think about switching any source? How is Marrow going to help them in these 2 months? So these are two questions which I want to address first. So what do you say?
Ma'am, actually, the thing is that switching your source of preparation at this junction, it can be counterproductive, right? So
I
whatever
agree.
may be your source, whatever you're following, whatever faculty you're following, right, you follow them. And believe me, at the end of the day, it is you who has to clear the exam, right? It is you who have to get the answers right and clear it. So whatever you're using, platform you're using, right? You're using Mero, stick with Mero, go ahead. The only thing you need to do is, you need to be clear in your head. What do you need to do further? And you need to make a plan, follow it, execute it, and you'll be. The thing you need to do is, you need to be clear in your head. What do you need to do further? And you need to make a plan. So Rohan sir is back, and
Yes, sir.
so we discussed a couple of questions, sir, and
So, sir, one more thing, Rohan sir, we were talking about that how is Marrow going to be useful for them in these 60 days?
Yes, so I was listening to the conversation. So first thing, I think so you people have already addressed that 60 days are more than enough to crack this exam. And that I think so everyone agrees with. One more thing which we all agree with, which ma'am and sir have said, that your target should not be 150. You should always aim higher. And when you aim higher, you're going to push yourself to do more. And that's when, you can easily get a score of 150 plus. My firm belief is that if you've been using one source, you should stick to it until unless there is a very strong reason for you to do a small portion from somewhere else. Otherwise, you should stick to that source. We all have prepared for entrance exams, and I have also prepared for USMLE and for MRCS, various exams. And in every exam, there are multiple sources. Now, when you have friends who are doing the same preparation, invariably this discussion comes up that, should I be doing this source or should I be doing the other source? So whenever this doubt came up, my approach to that was very simple. I used to take a mock test or a grand test or a subject wise thing to see where my preparation is going. And if I was not faltering because of the knowledge section, I used to stick to that source. And I had a habit of writing down that this is the source which I'm going to use for this portion or this subject. And I rarely changed it. I mean, I can only recall one odd instance where I had to change a source because the content had updated so much that that old source was outdated. So until unless it is a major disconnect, you should stick to the same source. And whenever you get this FOMO in you that others are doing this, you should just go and take a test. If you're scoring adequately in that test, you are good to go and stick to the same source.
Right, sir. So, sir, here I would just like to add, I just want to ask you all at first instant, why did you choose that source? Think about that. Why did you choose that source? Because you had faith in that source, and that is why you chose that source. So now, why are you getting jittery about it? Now, why are you getting dual minded about it? And why do you think about changing a source? You don't need to change the source. Only thing what you need to do is you need to use that source a little more smartly. And for that, that is something which this session is all about. We are here to tell you how you are going to use Marrow smartly so that you can crack your FMG in these 2 months. So
moving on. See, sir, there are some students who would ask us that I've completed some number of subjects, right? Be it 8, 10, 12, 13. Now, what should they do now? So, Rohan sir, what do you think? Who have completed some number of subjects?
So if they've completed those many subjects, I think so they're in a very strong position to crack the exam. One good thing which has happened in the last two exams is that the pass percentage has gone up. So it is, I mean, both the things are there. Students are better prepared for the exam, and also because the exam has become more clinically oriented, I think so they can relate more to it rather than those one-liner things which they had to memorize quite a lot previously. So if somebody has done 8 to 10 subjects, I think so they're in an excellent position. Their approach should be simple, that they need to revise those 8 to 10 subjects now and do the rest of the subjects. Rest of the subjects, it is very simple. Do from the revision videos and the previous year topics and questions. Maro has beautifully summarized the FMG previous year questions, and we'll highlight where they can see those in the app. The subjects which they've already done, again, just revise their notes and the previous year questions. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, what do you think, ma'am?
Sir, I also believe in the same thing that if you've done some subject, you simply have to revise that. The subjects which are left, you have to do a revision videos. And for all those students who feel a little more comfortable, see, everyone has their own style of reading and own style of revising. And everyone knows which is their strong subject, which is their weak subject. So if you are amongst those who feel that, if you are given a set timetable, then you will be able to follow it and you feel a little more comfortable in that. We have also prepared a timetable for you, how you are going to micromanage these 60 days. So for that, we have a timetable. But yes, the bottom line is this only, that if you have not done any subject, you don't have to go to the main videos. You have to rely on revision videos. You have to do previous year questions for that.
Yep. So I just like to add one thing to this, what Sir and Ma'am has said. Now, suppose what would I have done as a student if I would have completed 8 to 10 subjects, 2 months are remaining, right? And in these 2 months, I also need some time for revision as well. So usually what happens towards the end of your prep, fag end, you realize that revision becomes difficult, right? All of a sudden to revise all the 19 subjects. What I would have done every day, I would have kept 2 to 3 hours for revision of those 8 to 10 subjects which I have already completed, and then I would use the 5, 6, 7 hours whatever is remaining to study whatever I have not yet completed. And now again, how I would begin my day? I would begin my day with the new subjects that I have to cover, and towards the end of the day, when I'm tired, I'm bored, I don't want to study, I would keep that time, the last 2 to 3 hours in a day, to do those subjects which I've already studied, and I need to so that I revise them continuously. Because at the end of the day, what matters is how much you remember, right? And that would make your life easier, right? So you can make a plan in that sense.
So this is absolutely right that Bacho, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and you can change the ending. So don't think that if you have not studied till now, you try to go in that mode of feeling that now I can't do it. You still can do it. These 2 months are still enough, and we can see you on the other side after these 2 months. Believe us, you can do it. None of you at this point of time will feel that I will clear the exam. Very few have that confidence. So most of the students are like you people. And this is the time when you have to have that self belief and you have to just work hard and work smartly. That is all what is needed. So, sir.
No, I agree, ma'am, and I think so. All of us have been teaching for a very long period, and we do realize that students have cleared exams in 2 months.
Yes.
If they work really hard, they can easily get a good score. So you need to have self-belief. I think so. That is very important. If you have self-belief and if you can push yourself in these 2 months, anything is possible.
Right.
So there is somebody, and this was a question which all of us had written down, and we really want to address this, that somebody has got a score of 148, and now they're very afraid of appearing for the exam. So what are your views, sir, regarding these students who are stuck between 140 to 149?
Throughout the years, I have seen cases where students, they have been stuck for years, right? 4 times, 5 times, and the score fluctuates in between 145 to 150. Now, for these students, I have only one piece of advice. The reason being, you have all the material, you have studied all of them, not once but twice, and time and again you have revised, the same thing. But again, you're not able to execute it at the time of the exam. So you need to understand the problem. Where the problem lies is not how much we have studied. The problem is how much I remember after my studies, right? How much मुझे याद कितना है, पढ़ तो लिया मैंने, मुझे याद कितना है. So I've read it, how much do I remember? So there is a simple formula which I call it as RRR: read,
Okay, sir.
revise, re-revise, right? So what is read, revise, re-revise is something like this. Someone who is stuck in between 148, 149 for eternity, what you can do is, suppose you study something for 8 to 10 hours today, tomorrow you'll keep 2 hours for revision, right? So whatever I
Okay, sir.
studied today, tomorrow I'm going to revise that for around 1.5 hours. And next day, I'm again going to revise that or re-revise that or overlook that for half an hour.
Okay,
So
sir.
whatever I'm studying or revising, it goes in triplet. I'm continuously revising it for 3 days. Now, what it happens is, you remember the basic physiology. How do we convert the temporary memory into permanent memory? It's by doing the things time and again, repeatedly. When you do it time and again, it goes into permanent memory. So that would significantly increase your retention. Try this, guys. Try this. I'm not saying it is easy, because you have to make a timetable which is very difficult to stick to. You have to stick to that timetable. And people then say, sir, I made a timetable, I studied for one day, but in 1.5 hours, I'm not able to revise. So, guys, remember, if you're not able to revise in 1.5 hours, that means you have not studied well. That day before, you have just flipped the pages. The thing is that you have to soak in the information, whatever you are reading. And for example, suppose you read something and you're not able to understand what is that topic about. So you can just go to the revision videos, use revision videos. Now don't go into the main videos, the time is less. So go into the revision videos and just overlook that particular topic and try to understand that. And believe me, the same notes, you'll be able to clear the exam with the same notes. The only thing that needs to change is the way that you approach your notes, right?
Okay, sir, I just have to add one thing. See, preparing well for an exam is very different than writing the exam well. You
Yeah.
might be very well prepared for the exam, but giving the exam is very different from preparing for it. When you are preparing for the exam, you are not judging yourself. You are not assessing whether what you have learned you are able to apply or not. And that is the biggest problem. If you are scoring a score between 140 to 149, I don't say that your concepts are not in place. Definitely your concepts are in place. That is why you are between 140 to 149. The problem is that you have not done either enough MCQs, or if you have done MCQs, how do you do an MCQ? What you do is, the moment you get an MCQ wrong, you look at the right answer, or even without marking the answer, you look at what is the correct answer, because you have the fear that if my MCQ goes incorrect at this point of time, what am I going to do? So don't have that fear. Jitni galti karni hai, please do it, but then don't do these mistakes on the final day of your exam. That is going to be really going to be, like sir said, counterproductive in that case. So please give GTs at this point of time, practice MCQs, all those whose score is between 140 to 149. That is something which you have to do to improve your scores. Try to know how to handle these 19 subjects together, right? So
Yeah. And second point, ma'am, I'd like to add here is, see, I've seen our students having a lot of failure. One of the important reasons is not practicing adequate MCQs.
absolutely, sir.
Because see, students, having knowledge of one topic is one thing, but being able to get the answer right, it's altogether a different thing. You might have entire knowledge about that topic, but you still might not be able to get the answer right. But if you have the knack for solving MCQs, which you need to develop, you need to solve at least some MCQs from those topics so that you get the knack for, solving those questions. You would have seen a lot of times that you don't know the answer to the MCQ, right? So what do? You rule out one option, two options, then you go for the best possible option. And that is how you get the answer right. Right. So approaching the, test per se on the day of the exam, we'll also discuss that. But that is something, we can do.
So just to add to that discussion, one thing is that usually these students who are between 140 and 149, I mean, I would extend this to somebody who's even in say between 130 to 150 is complacency. So usually what happens ki in the first exam when they get this, the next exam they think, "Arey, I have 6 months abhi, and 6 months mein I can do this much ki mere 20 marks to extra aa jayenge." But because of that complacency, they leave things till the last moment, and eventually they again get stuck in that zone of 130 to 150. So you have to let go of that one bad day which happened, but stop being complacent, and you have to, again, as we are saying, you should up the target to 180, 190, so that when you're pushing yourself to achieve that score, you will easily cross 150.
Right, sir.
So some important points to remember before you plan the strategy. We know that the marks required are 150, but like we have been saying, the target should be more than 175 is what you should target. And if you keep a higher target, it will be easier for you to achieve the score of 150 plus. Now, we have discussed that knowing something about everything is more important. So the breadth of
Yes.
knowledge is more important. And at this juncture, the most important tools for you would be your revision videos and your previous year questions, which have been compiled very well by Marrow, and we'll show you where you can find them. Ranjan sir, what are your views regarding leaving or not leaving any subject? If somebody has 9 subjects left to go, or 10 subjects which they have to do in the next 2 months, would you recommend they should do all? Or if somebody has done only 5 subjects and they have 14 left, would you recommend that they can skip a few subjects?
So I'll tell you practically, is we have to be practical, because doing all 90 subjects and then not revising is more counterproductive. So I'll tell you what, when I prepared for the FMG exam, I left 4 subjects. 4 subjects. One was anat, one was physiology, one was radiology, one was anesthesia. It's not that I did not want to do them. I practically did not have time to do them, because otherwise I would not have been able to revise medicine, surgery, OBGY, pharma, patho, etc. So I'll tell you now, as a student, I have been there. As a faculty, I'm here. You cannot leave medicine, surgery, OBGY. These 3 subjects you cannot. Now, if you ask me, sir, in medicine, can I leave something? So I'll tell you, in medicine, I left hematology because I could not wrap my head around hematology at that time. I just left it. So you can leave something in a subject, but you cannot leave a subject. So medicine, you cannot leave. Surgery, you cannot leave. OBGY, cannot leave. These are they constitute a huge chunk of your questions. Now, if you ask me if I left anat, physio, radio, and anesthesia, did I leave them completely? No. See, at the end of the day, we are MBBS doctors, isn't it? We have done MBBS, we have studied something. We at least know something about an X-ray, CT, MRI. So I just did MCQs, right? PYQs. I did PYQs. At that time, we did not have the PYQs of FMG. So I did PYQs, whatever were available for the PG exam. So you just need to go to the Marrow app. And if you're not able to do few subjects, it is okay. So what I'm trying to give you guys, I'm trying to give you confidence that even after doing 14 to 15 subjects, you can still clear the exam. That is doable. You need to have that confidence in yourself, right? So if you're
So,
not
but
able
then,
to do it,
like you said, you don't have to leave it completely.
yeah,
Leaving it completely is not what we are suggesting. So don't misquote Dr. Ranjan saying that sir said to leave these 4 subjects. Sir is not saying that you have to leave anatomy, you have to leave physiology, you have to leave radiology or anesthesia. So next day, we don't want you to misquote him. He's just telling his example, and he's telling you that when he left it at those days, so what I feel, so when you would have done, there weren't any revision videos, there weren't any apps which could help them, there weren't any teachers to filter the content and give to them. This
yeah,
time you have everything with you. If you are thinking about leaving a subject like, for example, anatomy or physiology, then leaving means you are not going to go to the main videos at this time. But then you can do it from revision videos, sir, hardly 10 to 12 hours. So what do you say?
even if you're not able to do that, because see, ma'am, it might happen. It might happen to some students that there
Right.
is 20 days are left for the exam, and they have still not done anything in that subject. So
So then, like you said,
those 20 days, they can revise those 14, 15 subjects. And in
right.
those 20 days, they can keep 2 hours every day to solve MCQs from those 4 subjects. So
Absolutely.
that,
So, so we are not
yeah,
advising them to leave it completely.
ma'am, it happens with a lot of students that they
Huh,
cannot,
right, sir.
they cannot pull it
Agreed.
off. It does not happen with everybody, but there would be
Yes,
cases it happens. So I need to tell them that first of all, you need to believe that
absolutely, sir.
there is no preparation which is perfect, right? My preparation was not perfect in FMG exam. My preparation was not perfect in All India PG exam. I always had a feeling if I had more days, I could have done something more. That would always be there. But with that imperfection, you can still find the perfect score and get your life, ahead with it. You can always do it.
Very well said, sir.
Yeah.
So, like ma'am said, don't misquote Dr. Ranjan. Dr. Ranjan was a bright student and he had done those subjects properly
Properly.
in his final years. And that is what it was helpful for him if he only solved questions for that. My advice here is that regarding leaving or not leaving a subject, you should know something about everything. And if you don't have time to do that subject, even if you don't have time to do the revision videos, you should at least do the previous year questions which are there in the marrow for FMG. If you go to the settings, if you move to the FMG section, if you go to the Qbank and you scroll down, you'll see previous year questions. Those previous year questions have been compiled and they have been explained beautifully. If you can just do those questions and read their explanations 2 times, I think so that will also put you in a good position to answer at least 50% correct answers in that subject.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. And uh, students are giving GT's grand test. And so there is one question the student is asking. If someone is scoring in between 140 to 150 in GTs as of now, right, should they be worried about it?
Sir, if they are between 140, 150 in a GT right now with 2 months left, I would analyze that GT. GT analytics will tell you which subjects are weak. I would focus on those subjects first. You need to face your demons as early as possible. Don't delay and don't defer these subjects till the last moment. Sometimes students think that, हम last तक छोड़ेंगे उसको because वो fresh रहेगी, memory रहेगी, fresh memory रहेगा, short term memory रहेगा. But that last moment never comes.
Right.
So in that GT, analyze what are your weak subjects and face those demons right now. Thrash out those subjects right now. One more advice, what is different in a GT of FMG versus GT of NEET PG is that in FMG, you can take more risks, right? You can be more aggressive. So I would encourage these candidates when they are appearing for GTs to be as aggressive as possible in their marking and try to eliminate 2 options from any question when they are approaching it.
Yeah,
Sir, I would
actually,
also like to just add this much only कि बच्चों ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा that you get all your questions which you have read, right? This will never happen, right? So at that point of time you don't have to be nervous. So like if you are scoring between 140 to 150, you have to practice, like sir said, being more aggressive, and you should know how to rule out options. ऐसा नहीं होता that every question you have read everything about that topic or everything about that question, but you know something about that MCQ, and when you know something about that MCQ, that helps you to eliminate those options and come to a right answer. And that is why reviewing your GT becomes very important, because so many times you've made a guesswork and that guesswork was the right one. So in what you do is you just go and see what questions were incorrect, but you don't review those questions which you had actually guessed and they were correct. So reviewing of GT is another very important thing. And one thing which I want to focus from this slide is we all are always saying PYQs are important. PYQs definitely are important, but more important are the previous year topics. So if you've got a question from PPH, which might be about a uterotonic this time, next time you might get a question on PPH, which is about a B-link suture. So just studying uterotonics will not help you. When you are doing your PYQs, you have to do that topic of PYQ, which is more important than doing and mugging up the PYQ itself. So don't do this. Don't mug up PYQs. Do that topic thoroughly so that next time a question is asked from that topic, then you are able to answer it properly. So can we show them that how a tentative timetable might look like?
Yes, so I think so we've covered all these points, that these are the things which they need to look at in the last 2 months. They need to look at the revision videos, PYQs, custom modules, and mock tests. We will deliberate more on the custom modules slightly later. Dr. Ranjan will talk about them as well. Now, just to clarify again, revision videos are enough for FMG. If you've studied some subjects from main videos, you can stick to their notes, or you can even utilize the revision video notes. Revision video notes have been shared as a PDF with all Plan C users. Check your spam folder if you don't find them. You can utilize those revision video notes also. They are more than enough for FMG.
Just a small thing, sir, over here.
Yes.
To all those students who don't know what revision videos we are referring to, revision videos are not in the FMG section, they are in the NEET PG section. So you will have to switch to NEET PG to access those revision videos which we are talking about. They are common revision videos for NEET PG and for FMG. And your current Marrow is the Marrow plan is going to show you revision videos of edition 5 also and edition 6. We are talking about revision videos of edition 6 which you have to refer to.
Right. So whatever is remaining, you can complete from revision videos, and you need at least 2 readings of your revision videos and notes prior to the exam. If you can do that, you will be in a good position to crack the exam. Yes, revision video of edition 5 is also enough for you, Akshay. For surgery, even if you do edition 5 revision video, that is enough for FMG. In addition to that, just do the previous year explanations which are there in the Marrow app. Each question, each topic has been discussed in detail. And if you can do that along with the revision videos, it will be more than enough for you. So like we've been repeatedly saying, you watch the revision videos, do the PYQs of that subject, and attempt the subject-wise tests which are being made live in the app, and you will be in a strong position. So all of you know the subject-wise and mark distribution. According to that, we have prepared a tentative schedule for you. I would like to mention here that this schedule can vary from person to person.
Absolutely.
Right. For some students, they might have a certain subject which might be weaker for them or stronger for them. So you can proportionately devote less or more time to that subject. This is not a hard and fast schedule. It's just what we think an average student would require to finish the course in the next 2 months. Ma'am, can you explain
Sir,
the schedule to them?
yes. So you all know that you have a paper 1 and a paper 2. In paper 1, you are going to the subjects which you have in paper 1 mainly are anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, patho, micro, pharma, forensic. And paper 1 ke liye, what time we have given you is that you should devote 3 days to each subject of paper 1, which means if you are starting from tomorrow, you and 2 days you can give to forensic. Now, which means if you are starting fresh, I'm just talking about a fresh preparation, a student who's not done anything. We are just trying to show you that in these 60 days, even if you've not done anything till now, you can still crack the exam. So you are going to take 20 days to complete subjects of paper 1. And when we say that you are going to take 20 days, so anatomy, for example, we have given 3 days of time for you. Now, in these 3 days, what are you going to do? So can you please go to the previous slide? So one more. Yeah. In these 3 days, you are going to watch the revision videos of anatomy, go through the notes of anatomy. And like sir said, they might be in your spam folder. Take out a printout of the notes. Read the notes properly, do PYQs of anatomy, and attempt subject-wise test. Hardly, the revision videos will be 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, which is very much doable. And these 12 to 14 hours which are there in your revision videos, they have all the high yielding points which you need to know. And just in case, anything which has not been covered in the revision videos, when you are doing PYQs of the subject, As we said, it is topic which is important. Any question which you are unable to answer, read that topic, either from go through that topic either from the main video. If that is not there in the revision video, which I don't think that is going to happen, you are not go you are going to get all your PYQs in your revision videos. And at the end, give the subject wise test so that you know how you have done in these 3 days while you were revising anatomy along with ortho. So this is your paper 1. 20 days, your 100 marks you can score if you in 20 days. This is the timetable if you follow. Then comes your paper 2. In paper 2, 120 marks, that is a big chunk. Those 120 marks are through OBGY, surgery, PSM, and medicine. So what we've done is we've given you 3 days each for OBGY, surgery, PSM, and medicine and pediatrics. There is so much overlap between these two subjects that medicine and pediatrics you can do together in 4 days. And again, you are going to just watch the revision videos, do your PYQs, and give a subject wise test. In paper 2, the other subjects are ENT, ophthal, and small subjects. So ENT on ophthal together can be done in 3 days. Don't forget, ophthal is actually very important. There are going to be questions which are going to come from ophthalmology. And as far as ENT is concerned, those 10 marks are in your pocket. ENT topics are very easy and direct questions are asked from ENT. So don't miss out on ENT and ophthal. And then the other small subjects, like for example, skin, anesthesia, radiology, psychiatry. If you have time, then go through the revision videos and PYQs. If you don't have time, then like Sir said, Dr. Ranjan, don't leave that subject. Go through the PYQs in 2 days. So that will bring you total. This is, so can we go to the next slide? So total part 1 subjects are taking 20 days. Part 2 subjects will take you 18 days if you follow this timetable. And there are a reserve of 2 to 3 days, and you can finish this very easily by 10th of July. That means your entire revision videos, PYQs, and your subject wise test can be done by 10th of July. And still you have those 20 days in your hand for revision. Second time now, which you are going to do a first revision or second reading, whatever you call it. And then you are going to do a third revision. So, sir, can we go to the next slide? Now, from 10th July to 25th July will be your second revision, where you are going to revise your notes, do your questions through custom modules, either custom modules or PYQs. And daily, now what we have done is daily give 1 hour for PYQs of medicine. Medicine is very important. And like Dr. Ranjan said, please do not miss out on medicine. So after you've given 4 days to medicine, now from in the second phase, between 10th July to 25th July, you are going to daily do 1 hour of PYQs of medicine. On 5th of July, there will be a mock test, which will be live on the Marrow app, where you are going to give that mock test. Don't get demotivated after giving that grand test. That mock test is not to demotivate you, but that is to tell you that which subjects you are weak in. And so now in the second phase, you can always change. If we have told you revise this in 2 days, if in your grand test you came to know that no, this subject was strong, I don't need 2 days to revise for it, don't take 2 days, just take 1 day. We are, like Sir said, we've mentioned only a tentative timetable. And why I have kept ENT on 5th of July, because after you give GT, there will be some time left for you. Don't waste that time. Utilize that time in revising one of your any easier subjects, which for me was ENT. So you can revise ENT on 5th of July. So now from 10th of July to 25th of July comes your second revision. So can we go to the next slide? So in second revision, for example, you can give just 1 day each to anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, ophthalmology, 1.5 days to pharma, patho, micro, pediatrics, and 2 days each to OBGY, surgery, PSM, daily 1 hour of MCQ, PYQs practice for medicine. This way, you will be able to complete a second revision by 25th of July. And then you have 4 days. In 4 days, you are just going to revise whatever 20th notebook you had prepared, whatever last minute revision high yielding volatile points which you had written somewhere, which you should always write down somewhere, that these are the points which I'm going to revise in the last 4 days. So start preparing and filtering your material while you are doing your revisions, that these are the points which I tend to forget, and make a separate notebook for that and just keep writing those points, that these are the points which I'm going to revise in the last 4 days. So this is just one example of showing you that it is very much doable. Cracking FMG is very much possible if you follow a tentative timetable like this.
So, like ma'am has highlighted, there are certain subjects which are important, and those subjects carry a higher weightage for your exam. And that's why ma'am has given a higher time in this schedule which she's made for you. Okay. So, subjects like obs gynae, surgery, medicine, pharma, patho, PSM, right? These seven subjects are extremely important for the FMG exam. And if you pick up any last year paper, you would see that from these seven subjects, almost 150 questions would be covered, 150 to 160. So that is why these seven subjects you cannot afford to miss. Ma'am has given you a schedule. Again, you need to tailor it to your needs. If you've already done one subject properly, devote less time to it, and you can devote more time to a subject where you haven't done it properly. Okay. Now, two things which students are again and again asking, and I'm going to give you the answer for that. Okay. So this is the most important tool for you to crack the FMG exam, which Marrow has made for you. So what you have to do is you have to go to the settings section in your FMG
Just
portal.
So, sir is telling us basically
Scroll
that
to
how you can assess these
you will
FMGE PYQs. For assessing the FMG PYQs, you have to go to the FMG section. In FMG section, you are going to open the Qbank. In the Qbank, at the bottom most, you are going to see PYQs of all subjects. And just in case you are unable to assess your PYQs of FMG, there is a video on Marrow FMGE channel on YouTube where I have taken you step by step into how you are going to assess the FMGE PYQs. So you can watch that video, but it is very simple. You simply have to go to the Qbank section of FMGE, and there at the bottommost, sir over here is highlighting the previous year question papers. You have to click on that, and when you are going to click on that, subject wise last 3 years question papers will be there for you.
So there are question papers. So you'll have 6 papers there from 2020 till 2023. These you have to do. Now, I don't understand why you people are still asking for the must know topic list when this is already there. And this is what is making up your must know topics, right? So from this, you can get to know the topics. And if you see here, you can even see on the top right hand corner, you can sort them by topics as well. So why do you want a list from us when this has already been filtered out for you in the Marrow app? Just utilize the tool there and you can get the entire list. You can make a list on your own if you want. Otherwise, just solve these modules again and again and you will be able to crack the exam. Right? So all of you who are asking for a list, the list is there in the app itself under this section. Okay, you just need to solve these questions, and these are your important topics. Akshay, how can the PYQ papers? Of course, they are enough because they cover all the questions which have been asked and they've explained the topics in detail.
Right. So now, another very, very important thing, that once you've done the entire preparation, we are still be going to be there for you throughout your 60 days journey. We are there for you. We will be bringing out videos which will have high yield MCQ discussion videos by all the faculties. which we are going to hold on. Immediately, you are not going to get those videos. We want you to complete your one round of all subjects, and then we will be releasing those videos so that you come to know, like you are asking the topic list, that will be your last, the last thing which we want to give to you, the highest yielding top questions, which will definitely be from high yield topics by all Marrow faculties on the Marrow YouTube FMG channel.
Yes, but like ma'am said, that please just don't rely on those videos.
Yes.
You have to make an effort of your own as well, right? It's not as if you'll just get everything pre-cooked and we'll spoon feed you. That is not how things go. You also have to put in an effort. So put in that effort, what we've told you, the schedule which ma'am has made for you, and we will come up with those videos which would help you in the last moment, but they are not a replacement for the revision videos. Revision videos, the total duration is around 140 hours. So 140 hours for 19 subjects in the next 2 months, I think so. There is ample time for you to watch the
Ample time.
revision videos and do these 6 to 7 papers which are there along with the subject wise test. Ranjan sir,
Dr. Venk?
question for you, that how frequently should they be taking GTs till their exam?
See, grant test specifically for FMG exam, it is important in one sense that I have met students who come and say that, sir, I left 30 questions or 40 questions. Now, that is a crime. Leaving questions in FMG exam is a crime. You cannot
Right.
leave. So, just for time management, you need to give GTs. And see, another thing is revising those GTs. Now, you don't have much time to revise a GT. So, if you're not able to revise it, it's okay. You have to make peace with yourself. I'm not able to revise it. It's okay, right? Rather use that time to revise your subjects which are left or study a subject which are left. If you have time, at least revise those questions which you have done wrong, right? You can do that. But see, in an FMG exam, the main aim of giving GTs in this time, it is to learn about time management. Second thing is you need to understand that while giving GTs, you learn a couple of things about how an exam goes in, so that on the day of exam, you are not you are not you're not getting a type of shock. For example, I'll tell you something what happens. You'll begin to solve a question paper, and the questions which are jumbled upon, the sequence might be different. So you might get a set where the initial 10, 15, 20 questions are difficult, and at a trot you might not be able to solve many questions, right? And
Right,
that
sir.
that might that might kick off your anxiety, and you might get depressed, and you might not be able to then solve those questions, even those which are easy. So you have to calm yourself that among 300 questions, at least 50% questions would be on the easier sides, which will be solvable from your notes. You should be able to do that, and they will come with due course of time, right? So that is one thing you need to understand while giving GTs. You learn that so that on the day of exam, the exam, you should feel as if it is not exam, it is just another GT grand test, right? So you need to mark a plan for yourself. How are you going to solve the exam? For example, in our times, how used to do, we used to solve the exam in 3 layers: layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. First layer, we used to only mark those answers for which I'm 100% sure I know the answer, and I have to be quick. I don't know the answer, I'll just mark that I don't know the answer. Now what happens when you're through 150 questions in paper 1 and then paper 2, and once you realize that in 150 questions you have solved 70, 80 questions with confidence that I know the answer, your confidence level is high. Then you only go for the second layer, you'll see that for those where you don't know the answer, the answers that begin to come. It happens. Then at last in FMG exam, it is now this is where the FMG exam is different from NEET PG. At last, from 300 questions, right, 30 to 40 questions would be left, which you'll have no idea if the question is from this Earth or Mars or Jupiter. You'll have no idea. That happens. Now, for those 30 or 40 questions in NEET PG, what is advised? We advise the students to leave them. I also left around 30 questions in All India PG or NEET PG, whatever I gave at that time. But when it was FMG exam, I did not leave even one question. So I'll tell you what I did. What you'll do, it entirely depends upon you. For 30 or 40 questions, somewhere around 40 questions where I did not know the answer, I marked all the questions as only one option. Option, you can choose any option. I chose option A, I think. Right. Now that is what I did. That is the reason being, it was my mathematics, my calculation, that if I don't know and if I randomly go for option A, B, C, D, I might end up getting no marks. So probability what says in mathematics that I might get 25% right if I go for what option. Now that is something you can practice in your GTs, grand test, and see if your marks improve or not. That is another reason of giving GTs. And how many GTs, it entirely depends upon you. I would say in 2 months, if you're able to give, at least 3 to 4 GTs is good enough, because the time is less, time is less now.
So, sir, that is, once I am hearing you, I am hearing so many different perspectives. And it is so true that someone who himself has cleared FMG is giving a perspective to the students. Because if we talk about NEET PG, the perspective is very different, where they have to get a rank. In
Yeah.
FMGE, you have to get that golden score of 150, which is not your target. Your target has to be definitely higher than that. And like sir said, that you are going to give a GT so that you learn about time management and you know what suits you best for marking those questions which you don't know anything about. Which, in sir's view, it is that you have to mark any one option, A, B, C, or D. And if you look at so many videos, that is what they advise. But that is just one perspective. The other perspective could be, which, I mean, I am not very confident in marking A as all the options, which you have to see in your grand test how you are going to do. I am a little more confident if I can rule out one or two and think anything, which I feel is the closest answer, which could be B, which could be C. So everyone has a different way of approaching those MCQs, which they don't know anything about. And this GTs, which you are going to give, you are going to learn what suits you the best.
Absolutely. I think so. I completely agree with them. And the grand tests, we are not overloading you with grand tests. There are 5 grand tests which are there. You can appear for at least, I would say, 3 before your exam, minimum 3 grand tests you should do before you get your final exam. And you have a national mock also on 5th July, which you should definitely sit for. As Dr. Ranjan said, they should be done in an exam format. And this gives you practice that even if you don't get 5 or 10 questions correct in the first go, still you can get your dream score. Now, a few things which students are asking: should we be doing NEET PG PYQs? So yes, the last 2 year NEET PG questions you should definitely do. Anything more than that, and INI CET, if you have time, it is desirable. Otherwise, last 2 years NEET questions you should do. They are also there in the Marrow app.
Yeah.
To summarize everything, I firmly believe in the KISS principle. The KISS principle is that keep it simple and stupid, or you can even call it short and sweet. So what you need to do are revision videos, revision videos, revision videos. That is 140 hours approximately, easily doable in the next 2 months. None of you are there who wouldn't have done some subjects. You would have definitely finished some subjects. So in reality, it is even less than 140 hours what you need to do. You can easily do them 2 times. Read the revision notes and focus on the PYQ section in the FMGE app. Read the explanations properly 2 times. If you have more time than this, which you will definitely end up having, do the subject wise tests and the grand tests, and solve the Qbank using custom modules. Here, I would ask Ranjan sir to talk about custom modules for FMG for a couple of minutes before we wind up the session.
All right, sir, guys, if you want to exactly know how a custom module is created, how should I create it depending upon my, priorities of why. So there is a specific video on YouTube channel of Mero for FMG. It's a half-an-hour video. Go through it and you learn how to make. So briefly, I'll tell you how would I have used custom module today if I was an FMG student going for the exam. right? So I told you, like, I did not have time to, prepare for anatomy, physiology, anesthesia, and radiology. So what I would have done for these four subjects, I used to solve MCQs from guidebooks we had, and I would have today used the Marrow app and make a custom module with questions from all these four subjects. And for those last 20 days when I was revising all other 19 subjects, and I did not have time to study these subjects, every day I would take 1 hour for these four subjects, make a custom module, and I would randomly at least try to practice some questions from these subjects. Now, again, I told you this earlier. So don't give this excuse that I have not read it. You're an MBBS, right? You have studied this in your medical college. At least you have some idea about that subject. So you can use that, you can do that, and at least you can solve at least the easier MCQs by doing these custom modules, right? Second, custom module you can do for certain things which you are not confident about. Like, nowadays a lot of images are asked. So if you're not confident with images, you can just use custom module and just use the hashtag of image, and you'll get all the image based MCQs, and you can select the number 10, 25, whatever number you want to do. So at least can I do 10 MCQs based upon image every day? I'll just 10 MCQs. How much time do you need? 10 minutes to 15 minutes. 5 minutes you would need just to read the explanation, or 20 minutes, let us say. So can you spare 20 minutes every day, 20 minutes every day for something which you are weak at by using custom modules? So guys, custom module is a very beautiful thing. The only thing is that until and unless you use it, you'll not realize its potential. So I would advise you, go through that video, right, we have in this Marrow app about custom module, and see how it can the gaps fill the gaps in your preparation, and how by doing at least something very little every day, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you can you can make a lot of difference. Apart from moving away a little bit from custom modules, I'd like to tell them something about pharma. Now, a lot of
Right.
students, pharma is a difficult subject, right? So they ask me, sir, what can I possibly do differently so that pharma becomes at least little bit stronger? So the advice is very simple. Please do write down the drugs of choice and antidotes of choice separately, because you'll see in pharma and medicine, surgery, wherever you see, drugs are everywhere, obs gynae everywhere. So you'll have, in pharma and others, 50% questions at least from the uses of drugs or drugs of choice, and you'll have one question at least from antidotes of choice. So in one page you have antidotes, you'll have 8 to 10 pages of drugs of choice, right? Separate, write them separately. And can you at least give 5 minutes of your day just before going to sleep? Can you revise 5 DOC every day? How much time I'm asking? How much? Nothing more, just 5 minutes. Can you spare 5 minutes? Yes. Next day, you revise another 5 drugs of choice and try to recall whatever you have revised yesterday and day before yesterday. Again, let it run in triplets. And just by giving 5 minutes, you'll revise at the end of the month that you know 50% of pharma. If you know drugs of choice, you know 50% of pharma, and you'll be much more confident. So these are such type of hacks you need to do to improve your score in the exam. Anything else, sir, would you like to add?
Yeah, so sir, one thing which you beautifully highlighted. So in all my classes up till a few years back, I used to tell them that you need to do images for 10 minutes every night. And if you do 20 images every day, you do 600 in 1 month,
Yeah.
and you can calculate how much you do in 1 year. So it's about these tiny habits. And what I used to tell them was, you play book cricket with whatever subject you're doing. If you're doing surgery, just open Bailey randomly, see the images of that topic of that on those pages, and just do 10 pages like this every day. But now that has been beautifully done by technology. You can just put that image based question hashtag, and you can get a image bank on the Marrow app, and you can easily revise it. But what you mentioned, and I've been religiously following this book called Tiny Habits, which sir mentioned. It's about tiny
Thank
habits, 10 minutes every day, but those 10 minutes will transform into something much much bigger later on. And we don't realize the importance of these 10 minutes, but in a bigger time frame, these 10 minutes would pay huge dividends. So I would completely agree with the way sir has mentioned about the custom modules.
So, sir, like I will just add to it, every day when you are taking a break, or even without knowingly or unknowingly, you are watching reels on Instagram. So instead of watching those reels on Instagram for these 2 months, please see these important images. That is going to be much more helpful to you rather than watching these reels. These reels are not going to take you anywhere. So stop. I mean, I know I can't tell you that for these 2 months you just stay away from social media. That's not possible. But then, even if you are on social media, try to utilize it for your benefit rather than wasting time on social media. So please don't do that. Restrict your time, whatever time you are giving to social media. Every day, when we are saying that you have 60 days, instead of looking it at 60 days, please plan your timetable for that one day, hour wise timetable, that in this time duration I'm going to revise this topic. In this time duration, I'm going to revise this topic. Break your one day into those 12 hours of dedicated study which you are going to give it. 12 hours is a must which you need at this time. So don't think that by studying 8 to 10 hours, and when we are saying 12 hours, it's not just watching the revision videos, that includes your time for doing your MCQs as well. So please micromanage your time at this time, and you are all of you are going to clear if you utilize these 60 days in the best possible manner.
So
Absolutely. I think so. You just have to now buckle up, change gears of your preparation speed, and just do it. Just don't quit, and just go and get a score which you will be proud of, and you would be happy to share that score with everyone. But there's no room for complacency. uh, like we've discussed, you people are doing something correct. You just have to focus on that. Don't get swayed by other external factors. I always give this example in my class. If you've seen horse racing, in horse racing, they put these small triangular
Pupils.
strips in front of the horse's eye, so that they don't look at the horse on the side. He can just look straight, and that's what you need to do. You need to focus on your path, on your track, and just run on it as fast as possible. So
So
all
here
the
I would
best.
just like to add one
Yeah.
more thing. So that there is a problem of plenty with these people. They have plenty of information and they have plenty of resources, and you have this feeling that my friend is doing this, whether I am doing correct or not. Stop all this, please. At this point of time, you have to focus on what you are doing. Don't focus on what your roommate is doing, what your friend is doing. Stop focusing on that. Just believe that what you are doing is right. Believe on that one source, whatever source that is. Believe on that one source and just prepare. At this point of time, don't do this, that I have to do this from here or do this from here. Let me do this also. Let me try this also. That is not going to work. That will be much more harmful than it is going to give you any benefit.
yeah, and at
So
last
there.
I would like to say, some
Yes,
students they
yes.
ask me, sir, what is your motivation to clear the FMG exam or the All India PG in first go? Right? What motivated you? So I'll tell you frankly, what motivated me. What motivated me was fear. The fear of going through the same torture for another 6 months. I did not want it.
Mhm.
I, that
Yes.
that that fear was what kept me motivated. That I don't want to sit for another 6 months and prepare for FMG exam. So I just wanted to get the hell out of FMG preparation phase and enter into the Indian medical system, because I knew that the moment you clear FMG, you are just in the very first step of Indian medical system, right? You are just at the beginning. And after that, when I cleared the All India PG exam, and at that time, you see, our lifespan is not very big. I mean, we don't live for thousands of years. It's very small lifespan. So the faster you clear, your hurdles and you begin your life, then you can live your life, settle down faster. So my motivation was always it is that I wanted to get out of this preparation phase of either FMG or NEET PG as soon as possible. So just remind yourself, if not this time, you have to slog for another 6 months. And when we are not even clear what's waiting for us after 6 months. So guys, this should be your biggest motivation to clear it in this attempt. There cannot be a bigger motivation than this.
Correct. And
So
there are 100 ways to succeed. You just need one way. And that one way is the one way which you are following. And you need to have belief in that and faith in that and just walk that path for the next 2 months. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you, Ranjan sir. Thank you, Sakshi ma'am, for your great insights. And if you have any further questions, just put them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer them for all of you. Thank you. Good night.
All the best, Bachu. You all are going to do really well. Just don't quit.